Okay, welcome everybody. It is 12:11. This is, what is today? February what? 20 what? 25th, correct. 25th, 2016. This is our Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority Youth One-Stop Affiliate class regarding job readiness, getting ready for a job. And we really focus on, usually we focus on using the cloud. But since we can't use the computers here today, we're not going to be able to do that. So my name is Edward. I work at Larson Training Centers. Larson Training Centers is a licensed private or a licensed nonprofit post-secondary school that has the highest placement rate in the state of Nevada. Higher than UNLV, CSN, any other school in the and which is good in itself, but it's even more significant because looks like we have bandwidth problems. Anyway, it's more significant because our students are in prison. They are sentenced by the courts to go to school instead of jail. They live at Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, the shelters, and so we take people who are motivated but have challenges and give them the skills they need to get employed. And today those skills are being able to use the cloud. So a class that we had this morning with our students, and we have 3 campuses. One is at Nevada Partners, one is in Los Angeles, and the other one is in prison. It's in the prison here in Las Vegas called Casa Grande. Today we were talking about, in the other class earlier today, we were talking about how if you have the same skills as someone else, but they have more experience, what do you have to do to get the job? So what would you say? Kenny, what would you say?
Just impress your boss or do something, because managers usually look for more experienced guys.
Right. So the challenge for people is, how do you overcome people who, how do you get ahead of people who have more experience? That's the challenge. And at our school, we have people who don't really have experience doing stuff. And so they have, so number one is, your first statement was the supervisor has to like you, right? They have to trust you.
You have to be pretty good.
Okay, so you have to be good at that. But let's say they don't know you. You're at a job interview. They don't know you, and you're interviewing, competing with people who have more experience. So do you think any of you are going to be in that situation where you're trying to get a job against people who have more experience? What do you say, Joshua? What do you say? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good answer, right answer. Okay, so you will probably be in that position, because if you don't have experience and you're competing for a job where other people have experience, you'll be at a disadvantage. And it's not easy to have them know you. Like, so for you, when you went from cashier to busser, it's because they knew you and they said, we're going to give you a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because you work hard and they had trust in you and confidence that you could do it. Okay, but we're not talking about that situation, because Kenny, what did you do to get the job, the first job?
I already knew the manager, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
So to get the clerk job or the cashier job?
Yeah,
okay.
I already knew the manager.
So you had an advantage.
Yeah.
Because the guy knew you and was willing to give you a shot.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're not going to go into a job where you have some advantage, like you know somebody, what would you have had to do?
I mean, if you got no experience and
you don't know
your first
anybody.
job or something, either you get something to back you up as of like doing this class or something like that.
Yeah.
Or just go inside there and hope for the best. That's
okay. So those are the basic things that people say. And what we do at Larson is we give you skills that the employer is looking for, but nobody else has. So would you say that would be a good strategy if you're competing with people who have more experience? Yeah. You have to have a better something that the employer wants. And the jobs that we get people are in offices. We don't really do non-office positions. We don't get people jobs in restaurants, We don't generally do that. We don't get people those kinds of jobs. We get people jobs in offices. And we get them jobs that all businesses need. So what's one example, Ernie, of a job that all businesses need? Ernie's gone through this 6 times. Okay, so the acronym we would use would, okay, so we would use the acronym of CASA. If you want to just make it easy for yourself, just remember CASA. So C is for customer service. Does anybody think there is any company that doesn't have a customer service? Now, it could be bad customer service, but does anybody think there's any company that doesn't have a concept of customer service? Right, all businesses have people in customer service. Okay. A, admin. Okay, is there any business that doesn't have admin people? Even if it's a small business, somebody does the admin stuff. Let's say it's a carpet cleaning business and it's a guy and his wife. He cleans the carpets. What does she do? Everything else, right? That's admin. Okay? Sales. There's no business out there. And when I say business, I mean for profit. I don't mean places like this or churches or nonprofits. Every business has salespeople. And the salespeople have an attitude of nothing happens until I sell something. I'm the most important guy in this company because nothing happens. And that could be sort of with waiters in a restaurant. You know, if I don't get customers to buy stuff, nothing happens. And the cooks will say, well, yeah, but if we didn't have good food, nothing would happen either. But, you know, that's a different debate. So, and then the last thing is accounting. Are there any businesses that don't have accounting people? No, all businesses have that. So at Larson, we train people for these 4 types of positions: customer service, admin, sales, and accounting. What we don't teach people for, we don't teach operations. Okay? So where you work, Kenny, what are the operations where you work?
What do you mean?
Okay. What do they do? Where you work, exactly where you work, what do they do?
Like for what?
What do they sell food? What do they sell where you work?
Oh, regular stuff, burgers, pancakes,
Food.
breakfast.
They sell food, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so operations in a restaurant is food, right? In a carpet cleaning business, what's operations? Cleaning carpets, okay? In a dog washing business, what are the operations? Washing dogs, okay? So that's what operations are. It's what they do. Pizza parlor, what's the operations in a pizza parlor? Making pizzas, okay? We don't teach people that. We teach people these positions. And the thing that's different about us is we teach people how to use the cloud to do this. And I will promise you, nobody out there really knows how to use the cloud in business. All employers want to move to the cloud because all employers want 2 things. What's one of them? No, not in people. What does the Tuscany want to do? Make money. Okay. All businesses want to do 2 things. Well, upsell is a little bit different. They fundamentally want to make money, right? What else?
Returning customers.
Well, that's making money. So I say, well, how do you make money? Upsell, customers come back. What's the other thing that businesses want to do? Earning.
Save money.
Save money. Okay? All businesses want to make money or save money. That's why they hire people. I'm going to hire you because I want to make money. I need you as a waiter. I need you as a busser. If we don't have bussers in here, what happens?
You ain't getting no business.
Okay, you're going to have plates on tables. People can't sit down. People are going to say, "This, I don't feel comfortable in here," and they're going to leave. They hire bussers because they want to make money. not because they want to save money. They hire accounting people, customer service people, because they want to save money. But this is fundamentally all businesses want to do these two things: make money, save money. And they're going to hire people who can make the money. So one thing to write down on your sheet is when they ask you, when you're in your interview and they say something like, why should we hire you? What do you need to say, Ernie? No, not
No,
That's a fire.
Yeah.
You make the money, you save.
Why? But why should we hire you?
Would I have a job?
Huh?
Would I have a job?
No. You say you should hire. Why should we hire you? Because I'm going to make you more money than anyone else.
Okay.
And you have to say it with confidence.
Okay.
You can't say it like you're reading it off a piece of paper.
All right.
Oh, because I'm going to make you more money. No, you have to say it like you mean it. Guess how many other people in the interview are going to say that? Zero. Nobody is going to say that. So if you're the one person who says it, they're going to remember you, because that's fundamentally what they want. But nobody's told that. As an interviewing strategy, you need to tell them, I'm going to make you more money than anyone else. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that, Kenny? How are you going to make me more money than anyone else?
Work faster, get things done.
Okay, how are you going to make me more money than anyone else?
Having a good work habit.
How are you going to make me more money than anyone else?
I'm gonna work a little more hard than anyone else.
How are you going to do it, Ernie? You already said the answer at the last question, and it's not.
I already said that. I already screwed myself.
You're the cloud. Okay.
Wait.
Everybody's going to say.
Okay.
Everybody's going to say, I'm going to work harder. I'm going to work smarter. I'm going to do this.
Right.
Everybody's going to say that.
Uh-huh.
Why should I hire you? Well, I'm going to work harder. I'm going to work smarter. Okay, the answer to why you should hire me is I'm going to make you more money. Then you want them to say, oh, really? How? And you would say, well, besides the fact that I'm going to work harder and work smarter and work faster, besides all that, I know the cloud and I can bring your business to the cloud. And what you want them to say to that is what? How? Well, if they say prove it, say, okay, when do I start?
Right, exactly.
Okay, but they're not going to say prove it, they're going to say how. Okay, so how can the cloud help the Tuscany Hotel?
All of those things, because we literally do everything off of computers.
Okay,
We buy our product off of computers.
okay, so that's sort of saving money.
Yep.
Okay, now, so the Tuscany wants to make money. How is the cloud going to help them do that? So first of all, the question is, how does the Tuscany make money? It's like three different ways. Rooms, gaming, food,
Yep.
food and beverage.
Yeah.
Okay? What do all three of those have in common? Food, gaming, hospital, hotel.
So,
Well, people, right? They all need people. Okay? So if you can bring more people to the Tuscany to either stay overnight, have food, or for gaming, they will make more money if their operations are right. Okay, if they run their operations right, you bring in more customers, what's going to happen?
More money.
More money. They're going to make more money. Okay, how can the cloud help you bring in more people? How can the cloud help bring people into Tuscany?
as an employee-wise or as a customer?
No, how can the cloud help how can the Tuscany use the cloud to bring more people in?
Advertising or something?
Okay,
Like
Oh.
marketing and sales,
okay, Whitney,
discounts. Better customer service.
okay,
Online customer service.
okay, Jessica? You don't know? Okay. Okay, so one practical thing, so those are things that you want to do. How do you do it? Well, one way is, let's say you send a text to all of your customers saying, you know what, free dessert tonight. You send it out to 10,000 people.
Yeah.
You think 20 people might show up?
No.
They might. 20 people out of 10,000 if you say free dessert? Oh, you think more than 20?
Yeah.
I'm saying at least 20.
Well, at least 20 will more likely than show up. That's
Okay.
a guarantee.
Okay? Now, would you give away a free dessert to sell a dinner?
Of course.
Yeah. Who wouldn't? Right? Why don't they do that? They don't know how.
They don't do it.
They don't know how to do that. Okay? How else can the Tuscany bring in customers? Okay, so first of all,
discounts.
if you're a restaurant, there's three things you want to do with customers. Stay longer, come back more often, what's the third? Tell their friends. Okay? Those are the three basic ways you make money in a restaurant with people. You get a customer, you get them to stay longer. If they stay longer, what might they do?
Spend more.
Spend more, upsell. Okay? If you get people to come back more often, what does that mean?
Better tips usually for us.
Well, for the staff, but it means if they come back more often, you're going to make more money, right? Because every time they walk in the door and have a meal, what does the cash register do? Ka-ching, right. Okay. Next, if they tell their friends, what's going to happen?
More business.
What's the best form of advertising? Word of mouth. Okay. So let's say at the Tuscany, they said, okay, we're now going to implement this new feature for our special customers. Fill out this questionnaire. Tell us what you like to drink, what you like to eat. We're going to give you a special app on your cell phone, on your smartphone. We're going to give you a special app. Anytime you want to come here, launch the app, fill it out what you want, what time you're going to be here, and we will have your table set up. So if you like a particular wine, guess what's going to be at your table when you walk in? Is that person going to feel special when they walk in? Oh, hello, Mr. Jones. Your table's right here. We have your wine chilling. What does that mean for the waiter? That's right. Huh? It means more tips. It means those people are going to feel good. They're going to come back more often. They're going to tell their friends. This magazine right here, anybody ever hear of Pizza Rock? Pizza Rock, the best pizza parlor, best pizza place in the world. Pizza Rock. Little Tony's, Slice House Pizza. Okay, so in GVR, Green Valley Ranch, in downtown on 3rd and Ogden, there's a restaurant called Pizza Rock. And you know you're in there because there's a big a tractor trailer, semi-trailer, a whole big truck. Yeah, inside the restaurant. In both of them. Looks like that. Okay, so he advertises in this magazine. He has an ad that says, receive $10 off your check of $25 or more. That's a 40% discount if you want to spend $25. I said to him, hey, Tony, I know you put that in there when the restaurant was just opening. That was a year ago. Do you still want to keep it in there? Because I'm thinking he's paying $1,000 to have that page in the magazine. Paying $1,000 for that page. And I'm thinking, and he's giving $10 off the bill? You got to sell a lot of food to do that. What did he say?
Of course he's selling a lot.
What did he say when I said, do you want to take it off the app?
No.
Why?
Because this is something that brings him the customers. This is money making.
Okay, well, that's true, but ultimately, what's really true in the restaurant business, about 90% of the people, if you give them $10 off,
They're going to come back.
well, they're going to spend an additional 10. Now they might get dessert. Now they might get a drink after dessert. Now they might get 2 drinks. So his thing is, no, keep it in. They're just going to spend $10 more. My check average just went up $10 a person or per table. That's what he said. So now, how do we use the cloud to do that same thing? Because this only works at Pizza Rock. It only works if you have one of these. You can't walk in and say, just, hey, can I have $10 off my bill because I'm here? No.
I saw your ad.
Yeah, I saw your ad. Can I have $10? No, sorry. You can't. We can't do it that way. I need you to bring the ad in. So, how do you use the cloud to do that? Huh? You put the ad, the coupon, on the app. Let's say you sent out 10,000 text messages to people with a coupon on it that said $10 off an order of $25 or more. Do you think 20 people might show up? Okay. People are impressionable. That means, like, if you say to somebody, hey, how about this? So now, do you sell milkshakes at Tuscany?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's an experiment. When you get to be a server at lunchtime or at dinner, go to the table and do a little experiment and say, we have great milkshakes. When's the last time you had a milkshake?
Like 2 days ago.
No, this is what you say to them. I'm not asking you. Okay, this is what you say. When you become a server, this is what you say. We have great milkshakes. When's the last time you had a milkshake? They're going to think about it. People are impressionable. If you don't ask them about a milkshake, you're not going to sell many milkshakes. But if you put it in this way, we have great milkshakes. When's the last time you had a milkshake? Want to try one? A lot of people, half of the table, somebody's going to say, yeah. That's not the really interesting thing. The interesting thing is if you have 4 or more people at a table and one person says yes, probably at least one other person will say.
No, they usually do. There's like at least 2 of them will say yeah.
Okay. Why don't they teach you that when you're a server?
Just not in the mood or something.
Okay. So when you become a server, you're going to make more money.
I already been a server.
Oh, okay. You don't like, you'd rather be, okay. All right, I understand. So you might say to another server who wants to make more money, let's try an experiment. And that's the way to put it to people. Don't say, hey, go do this, because, well, you're not my boss.
No.
Okay? Or that's a stupid idea. Just say, hey, let's try an experiment. Let's see how many extra milkshakes we can sell if we do this. Or we have great desserts. But see, people are used to, after dinner, somebody comes up and says, want dessert? Anybody want dessert?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it's easy to say no. But if you go over and say, hey, we have great milkshakes. When's the last time you've had a milkshake? Want to try one? Oh, tell me about it. At this place here, Prime Burger, one of these 50 restaurants that these guys own. At Prime Burger, their milkshakes are like $12. You know how many they sell? I don't either, but it's a lot. Okay? Because they're exotic. And when people see this, they say to themselves, huh, God, I haven't had a milkshake for 10 years. I haven't had a milkshake for 3 years.
Right.
Well, the description of it, it's not just vanilla milkshake, $12. It's other crazy stuff. So we teach our students how to use the cloud to help employers make more money. And our people work in these types of positions. We don't train people for operations. We don't train people to be waiters. We train people to be salespeople. They might decide to become a waiter. They might decide to do that, but that's not what we do. So that's Larson Training Centers. And the reason we have over an 85% placement rate is because our people are motivated. A lot of people go to UNLV and these other schools because they have nothing better to do. Or when they get out of high school, their parents expect them to go to college because the parent went to college. And the kids don't really care when they get out of high school, or they don't know what they're going to do. What percentage of people do you think end up doing what they went to school and got a degree in?
5%.
Not much got higher.
Okay, so the number is 40%. But if you subtract teachers and engineers, that number goes down to 10%. Because almost everybody that goes to school to be a teacher, guess what they become? A teacher. Almost everybody that goes to school to be an engineer becomes an engineer. But most people who go to school and take English don't become writers. Okay? They don't do that. They might become teachers, but they didn't go to school to be a teacher. They got an English degree. They wanted to write. So only 10% of people who go to college end up doing what they're doing. Whereas for us, these are the things we teach for people to get these jobs. So the fact that our people get employed shouldn't be surprising, because people who learn this other stuff in school, they don't learn these skills. So why would somebody hire somebody who has an English degree if they're going to be a waiter?
Right.
Or a salesman? They don't know anything about selling. Our people do, or administration or customer service, and our people know the cloud. Do you think they teach the cloud for everybody at UNLV? CSN? No, they don't.
1 minute,
Okay. What do employers want? They want to make money, save money,
38.
and we've already talked just about only a couple ways that the cloud can help a business make money. Okay, so that's why, but it starts with motivated people, and our program is 520 hours over 16 weeks, 7 hours a day. So it's not like going to UNLV where it's what a class, like 2 days, 3 days a week, you have this class, and you have that. And what happens is when you have a class like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, guess what you're not doing every day? What are you not doing every day? You're not doing all of your classes every day, right? You're preparing for the classes you are going to have tomorrow. You might do tonight, and in the morning you're doing the classes you're doing today. So what happens is you start skipping days. And then what happens to remembering things, Ernie?
You start to forget.
Yeah. You start to forget because what?
Because you're not repeating that information.
Okay. So an important thing to know is our brains are designed to do what, Ernie?
Forget 70% of what we went to.
What percent?
70?
Right, exactly. But see, when you're not sure, you still have to say it with confidence. Okay? Our brains are designed to forget 70% of what we experienced today. So who knows exactly what they were doing at 11:15 this morning?
Oh, the bus.
Yeah.
Okay, where on the bus? Where was the bus at 11:15?
Boulder Highway.
Okay, where on Boulder Highway?
Cross Boulder Station.
You sure?
Yeah.
How about 23 minutes before that?
No, I can't.
Okay, so we don't know. We don't remember this stuff. We're not like a video camera that you can just go back and rewind and say, oh yeah, here's the conversation I had at 11:23 this morning. We were talking about this, he said that, she said that. There was a girl over there in a blue dress, kind of funky looking. We don't remember that stuff. Most of what we do, we don't remember at all. And when we sit in class and we're supposed to be doing something, we're going to forget 70% by tomorrow, within 24 hours. So what's the solution to that?
Redoing your steps, like over and over again.
Okay, so one thing is taking notes. Okay, because if you don't take notes, how do you review your steps? Over and over. You can't. Okay, so we know, we experience at Larson that our students are not good at taking notes. They're not good at remembering. So one thing we do is we have these things taped. So you can go back on and you can watch the exact thing that happened. Because what is the fundamental difference, CJ, between good students and not good students?
Ones who stay consistent.
Huh?
Ones who stay consistent and ones who don't.
Okay, the ones who do what the system?
Stay consistent.
Stay consistent. Okay, that's a pretty good answer. It's more, even more basic than that.
Studying.
Well, it's more basic than that.
Yeah,
They just remember more.
yeah, they know.
Good students remember more. Why do they remember more? Because they study more. Okay? While other people are out not studying, the good students are studying. They're the ones who take good notes. They're the ones who review their notes. That's it. That's the only difference. They're not smart. Maybe they're just a tiny bit smarter. But if you take a tiny bit smarter and you spend 5 times more time, who's going to end up getting a better, remembering more? Person who spent more time doing it. So our people don't really get that or want to get that. And so one thing that I would hope everybody gets here, if you want to be better, you just have to remember more. Okay, so when you're at work, what happens to employees who say, how do I do that again?
No, I mean, they get made fun of real hard.
Okay, and then eventually what happens?
They just get fired.
Maybe they get fired or they just don't get promoted. Everybody else gets moved up and they don't. Well, what do you think the supervisor's saying in their brain?
Well, with
Not out
us,
loud.
it's like say somebody like messes up on their food order because they didn't remember what that person had said, you know, and it's something that happens constant.
Mhm.
Now we're making food in the bag that we're
Have to throw away.
Right, exactly. We bought those food for like $10 from somewhere else, and we got selling for like $15.
Mm-hmm.
That server keeps on making up that same mistake. He's gonna get fired or suspended.
Right.
Point blank period. There's no like, oh, promotions or nothing. No,
Right.
It's just you're fired. Get out.
Well, now, but before he gets fired, what is the supervisor thinking?
Give him a warning.
I wish I could fire that guy. I have to give him a
Yeah.
warning.
Exactly.
I can't just fire him for one thing. We have
Yeah.
these procedures here I have to follow. But that boss, that supervisor, is already in their mind pegged that person as this person.
Kind of makes him look bad in front of him, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So the fundamental thing is you just have to remember more. Why do we remember some things and not other things?
Some things are more important than others.
Okay. How does your brain know what is important?
It's just something that sticks out
How does your brain know that though?
because you're interested in it.
Okay. Okay, because we base fundamentally tell our brains, I need to remember this. Okay, does anybody remember the first time they got an electric shock?
Yeah.
First time they got cut and needed stitches?
Yep.
First time they got punched in the face really hard?
Oh,
First time they punched somebody in the face really hard?
Y'all can remember that.
Okay. First time they got a spanking or something, their mother yelled at them. Okay. See, why do we remember things that happened when we were 2 or 3 years old, but we don't remember something that happened 20 minutes ago?
Because like your brain is telling you like, okay, so if you do this, that will happen. So it's like etched in.
right, yeah, it's kind of like cause and effect thing.
It gets burnt into your brain.
Yeah.
A certain part of your brain says, like electric shock or the first time you get burned, your brain knows, okay, there are some things I don't do again. And I don't do that again. Most of the things we don't do that. When we say to ourselves, this sucks, it's hard, do you think our brain is going to remember that? No, because what are we saying to our brain? Don't remember it.
Yeah.
So one thing to do in life is don't say negative things to your brain, because your brain is going to follow instructions. If you say, I suck at this, what do you think your brain's going to say? It's okay to do what?
Sucks.
Suck.
Yeah.
Because your brain doesn't have the ability to say, no, you're wrong. You don't suck at this. That's a different part of you, that you're like your conscience, right? It says, no, you don't suck. But the best thing to do is don't say negative things to yourself, because your brain will do it. Now, talking about selling, how many people here don't like to sell? 2 people only? You like to sell? Joshua?
You guys have
You
never
do?
worked in the fast food.
Good.
Yeah, I have.
Huh? You like to sell?
Well, I don't know, because I never sold, but I think I can sell.
Okay, good. How about you?
I have, it's like I've worked in the hospitality industry before, so I know what kind of taste and how to get people in.
Okay, now how about you, CJ?
Yeah, I like own my own business. So
What do you do?
like working as an independent contractor. So it's not
Of what? Independent doing what?
It's a different thing. It's contracting.
Give me one example.
Movies I have to sell, like performance.
Okay, got it. Jessica, do you like selling? Most people don't. Do you know why?
It's too much hustle.
Persuading someone.
So make it break.
Everybody has different ideas, different
Okay.
things.
So our brain has these little subroutines going on in it. Things that we learn very young, we tend to apply to other situations. So who in here had mothers or dads that when they said no, it meant stop? No. No, that meant stop.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, no, stop doing that, right? Okay. When you're in sales, a lot of times people say what?
No.
They say no. Your little subroutine in your brain converts that back to no means stop. Subconsciously, people who don't like to sell almost all of the time, it's because for them, no means stop. So it's like driving a car with 1 foot on the gas and 1 foot on the brake. So when you come home at night, oh God, that was a horrible day. Everybody was saying no. In your brain, subconsciously, everybody's telling you stop. Stop selling. You're no good. And then we say to ourselves, man, I suck at selling. I hate selling. Selling is no good. Why? It's not because people said no. It's because in your brain, that translated to them telling you stop. And your brain is going to do what you tell it. So when you're in sales, one of the things that people are taught is it's not no. When somebody says no, it's not N-O, it's K-N-O-W.
No.
They just don't know that they should have said yes, because you didn't explain it clearly. They're not saying N-O, they're saying, I don't know why I should say yes. You haven't persuaded me. You haven't given me any reason why I wanted to say yes. Whose fault is that?
The person that's trying to sell something.
Yeah. It's not their fault. So then you go back. So people that are taught when they're selling is you go back and you figure out, where did the wheels fall off the wagon? Because I know this person needed the product. I know they can afford the product or service. Why did they say no? They're in my restaurant to buy food, so they can afford to be here. They want food. I offered them a milkshake. Why did they say no? Don't they know how yummy it is?
Mhm.
Okay, don't they know how good it's going to taste? And the good memories it's going to bring back from when they were a kid, when they had a milkshake? Because that's the #1 reason people have milkshakes. It's not because they want all the calories. It's because it brings back memories of really good, fun, something good. So what you have to reprogram your brain is that it doesn't stop No doesn't mean stop. It means they just don't know. Anybody in here ever have parents who say, don't talk to strangers? This is the number 2 reason people hate selling. Don't talk to strangers. Okay, when you're cold calling, who are you talking to? You're talking to strangers. So you have this little subroutine going on in your brain that says what? Don't talk to strangers.
Right.
And you never thought of, wait a second, why am I, especially when it comes to telemarketing. People don't like telemarketing, they're afraid to telemarket. It's like, well, why? You don't know them, they don't know you, they can't hurt you. If they say no, what's the big deal? You just go to the next call, okay? But most people, the second biggest reason people don't like selling is because when they were young, they were taught, don't talk to strangers. What do salespeople believe about strangers?
Talking is,
No, what they say is a stranger is a friend I haven't met yet.
yeah,
Are you afraid of your friends?
no.
No, by definition, you can't be because they wouldn't be your friends. So if you say a stranger is a friend I haven't met yet, I want to get to know you. Am I going to be afraid to talk to you if I want to get to know you? No. If you like me, if I have a product you need and you can afford it and you like me, are you going to say no? No. The number 1 way to sell Porsches is what? What's the number 1 way to sell a Porsche? Huh? Let the person drive the car. They'll convince themselves they can afford it. I know guys that sold Porsches that say, you know, somebody comes on the lot, we think they have money, they're not really sure, they just might want to see what it likes to drive a Porsche. We give the guy the keys and say, let's go. That guy can afford, that guy will convince himself, okay, I won't go to Starbucks anymore, I won't do this.
Right?
Okay, God, my life is going to be so much better if I have this car. The sales guy isn't afraid of no at all because he's saying, I'm not selling anything. He's going to sell himself. Same thing happens in good restaurants. Good people who are good restaurant people are not afraid of saying to somebody, if you don't like it, I'll take it off the bill. Try it. I'm telling you, this is the best. We have the best pasta here. Try it. If you don't like it, I'm taking it off the bill. Why aren't they afraid of that?
Because 5 times out of 10 or 7 times out of 10, that person.
How about 9 times out of 10?
Yeah.
If it's good. Now, if
If
it's
it's-
bad,
yeah.
what are they not going to do if it's bad?
They're not gonna let them say it.
They're not going to say that. That's right.
Yeah.
They're not going to say it. So customers know deep down, nobody's going to make me an offer if they're afraid
You know,
it's not going to be good. So if they're willing to offer me, this is free, it must be good. Because they have this little subroutine that they learned as a little kid. If somebody's willing to give you something free, if there's no risk, you have nothing to lose. So if somebody offers you something where you have nothing to lose,
why not?
you will have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Okay, you'll have nothing to lose because the person who's getting the offer believes, well, they wouldn't have offered it to me unless it was good. Because if it tasted bad, they know I would say, I don't want to pay for it. So since they know that, and I know that they know, and they know that I know that they know, type of thing, it must be good. So I'll try it. Okay? So now I want to switch gears. We have a half hour left. Unfortunately, I have to leave at 1:30. I want to switch gears and talk about Nolan Bushnell. So who is Nolan Bushnell? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Weren't you here last week?
Yes.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know? You know. Do you know? You're too. Okay. So, who knows the game Pong? Video game Pong?
I still play that thing.
Pong? Okay, you don't. Do you? Okay, Paul, who knows asteroids?
I do.
Like
Centipede, yeah, centipede.
Oh
I still
yeah.
play those games.
Huh?
I still play them. Even
Okay.
the old version, you're still
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was the company that came out with those games? Atari. Have you heard of Atari?
I don't have time for games, man.
So Atari. So the guy who invented those games, who started the company Atari, his name is Nolan Bushnell. Okay, who knows Chuck E. Cheese?
Of course.
Okay, same guy, Nolan Bushnell. He was here last Wednesday, and he was here. What? Who was here the first time he was here? You were here both times?
Alright, first time.
Just
You're here both times?
second.
Just one.
Oh, you were here one. Ernie was here one. One?
Yeah, the second.
Okay, so he was here both times. So his statement is, don't work for someone else. Work for yourself. Be your own boss. And he's starting a school called Snrha to teach people how to start their own business. And if you are going to learn anything, do you want to learn from a professional or an amateur?
Professional.
Professional, right. You want to learn from the best person you can. There are very few people in the world who have come up with two things that have changed life as we know it. So you might not know or remember, but well, none of you were alive at the time, but before there were video games, there were no video games. Okay, there was a time there was no video game. And that was in the 1970s. No video games. No, well, except on a supercomputer, but no people really got to experience video games. When video games came out, they changed everything. All of this technology, all of these games that we have on smartphones, computers, everything, all are descendants of the first video game. And Nolan Bushnell is the guy who made the first successful video game and started Atari, and that changed everything. And one of the guys who worked for him at Atari was who? Steve Jobs, who then went on to start what? Apple Computer. And Nolan wrote a book about Steve Jobs. So who else do we know that has changed life fundamentally twice? Who can you think of? Well, that was once. Steve Jobs was once. With the Apple. Okay, with the computer. Okay. Huh? Well, who else besides Nolan?
Thomas Jefferson.
No? Okay, how about Elon Musk? Who's Elon Musk? Has anybody ever heard of Tesla?
Tesla?
Tesla.
I feel like I did.
Okay, what's Tesla? Yeah, it's a high performance electric car. Okay, anybody here of Solar City? So Elon Musk started that. How about Solar City? What's that? Solar power, right.
Right.
Elon Musk started that. PayPal. Elon Musk started that.
That old school people.
It's been around for, since like 85, but so he's another guy who's fundamentally changed life a couple times. But there, you say Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Nolan Bush, there's not that many people. One of them is starting a school that everybody can go to learn to be a business person, to own their own business. And the businesses he's talking about are really, some of them really, really simple businesses that if you just want to work, you can make a lot of money. The most simple business he talked about last week was go to your neighbors and say, for $5 a month, I'll take your garbage cans out and bring them back. I know where I live. I can only think of very few people who wouldn't do it, and the people who wouldn't do it are the ones who have kids that they have to do it for. But let's say you're a lawyer, you're a professional guy, and somebody says, hey, I'll take your garbage cans out and bring them back for $5 a month. What do you say? If you're a lawyer, yeah, I don't want to carry my garbage cans outside. I don't want to bring them back in. Especially if the rest of my neighbors aren't doing it. If my neighbors are paying somebody to do it, I don't want to be the only schmuck around here that's still, huh?
It was not paying somebody.
Exactly. Okay, so that's a simple thing. If you live in a neighborhood like I do, in an area like I do, and in like an hour and a half, you can easily get to a couple hundred houses. How much is that per month? Say 200 houses at $5. How much is that? $5 times 200.
Oh, that's 1,000.
$1,000 a month, just
nothing, do nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. This neighborhood is Monday, over here is Tuesday, here's Wednesday. I put flyers on the doors, take your trash out for you, $5 a month. And you say, and I'll disinfect the can, I'll disinfect your can.
Right. Make it
Get a little can of Lysol, spray it in it, wheel it back up. How hard is that?
You don't want to clean some trash can.
Well, would you dislike that more than liking $1,000? Which would be
$1,000 sounds really good.
It does, right?
Yeah, especially
Guess
if
what
you're
that
the
is?
boss at the end of the day.
That's a car payment, right? Insurance,
House payment.
couple nice dinners, new pair of shoes every month. Every month. Just from spending a couple hours every morning doing that. Yeah. No big deal. So, so Nolan has this school. And last week when we were here, the offer was made to this place to help decide to give people scholarships, partial scholarships to go to the school. How much does it cost to go to UNLV?
Depends on what you want.
So you live at home.
20,000.
Okay, close. It's actually $16,000 a year to go to UNLV if you live at home.
That's why I go with associate degree, right?
That's for 1 year.
Oh, what?
Okay, that's for 1 year.
Only one semester.
Now, so let's just say it's $16,000. What is it at, what do you think it is at CSN?
Maybe 10. 8.
Okay, it's 10. Okay? The first 2 years of college, what do you take?
Prereqs.
Yeah, lower division classes. So the first 2 years, you're going to spend $32,000 or $20,000.
Same education.
Learn what you should have learned in high school. If you went to Bishop Gorman, at the end of your 2 years here, you know less than somebody who graduated from Bishop Gorman. Yeah, private high school. Okay. After 2 years at UNLV or CSN, you will know less than somebody who graduated from Bishop Gorman or who took AP classes in high school. You'll know less. Now, how long does it take to get your undergraduate degree?
2 years?
No, that's an associate degree.
A year.
Huh?
A year undergrad?
Yeah. No, 4. So a bachelor's degree
6.
is 4 years. A BS or a BA. But this was 2, so you have 2 more years, so that's 64,000. Okay? Or times 2, 40,000. Now remember, we said only 10% of the people who spent this or this end up doing that. But only 60% of the people who go to college, other than engineering or teachers, end up getting done in 4 years. The average person, it's either 6 or 0. You either don't get a degree or it takes you 6 years. So that's another $32,000. So that's $96,000 or 60,000. Now, when I went to law school, it was 4 years, it was $1,000 a month to go to law school. That was back in the 90s, early 90s. That was a lot of money. Okay, so if you can spend, like most people, $96,000, have a degree in something you're not going to use, and it took you 6 years to get there. If versus, so this is 6 years versus 9 months. Versus 9 months, how much would you spend to go to school to learn to be your own boss? And remember, it's 1 year of spending money, but you also have 5 years of making money. When you get done with here, you're $96,000 down. That's what you had to invest. You weren't able to be making good money during that 6-year period. Over here, you go to school, Nolan School, for 1 year to learn to start your own business. And for the next 5 years, you're able to make money. How much would this be worth? If this is worth 96, how much is this worth?
$3,000.
This is worth 32 times more than this?
No, like to do that, like as of me paying to do the classes, it should take like $3,000, right?
Well, how do you figure 3 grand?
I'm just throwing out a guess.
Oh, okay. Well, how did you come up with that number? So in other words,
So
here
here
you're going to
to
spend
do that.
96,000. You're going to have a degree in something you probably never used. How much would you spend if it only took you 1 year instead of 6? How much would you spend to do this if you end up doing something that you went to school to do? Well, in economics, they tell you it's more than 96,000, right? So if I say to you, would you rather spend $96,000 and take 6 years to do something, or 96,000 to take 1 year and then be able to make money for 5 years, right? You'd say faster is better, right?
Yeah. But there ain't no guarantee of that.
But there's no guarantee with this either.
There's definitely no
There's
guarantee
guaranteed
with
job placement. but
With this?
Yeah, certain things could guarantee job placement at certain places.
Okay, let's say that's true. So it's worth less than 96,000.
Certain universities, certain things.
Well, no, this is UNLV. We're just talking about UNLV.
Okay, so let's talk about their medical field. You guaranteed to get a job in their medical.
Okay, but medical's going to be more than this, and it's not 6 years.
So with
The
that,
state.
what comes? What I'm asking. I'm not trying
Yeah.
to debate.
No, debate is fine.
I'm trying to ask you what. Okay, nothing.
Okay, here's what.
Guaranteed.
No.
What leads?
Here's what happens out of this.
Besides him being like one of the richest people or the most so.
Good question.
What guarantees me making? Like, what's stopping me to go get my own LLC and take the risk myself, get grants?
Okay.
Besides
Right,
getting more than
okay.
that if I'm already in it.
Okay. Stop, because you had a lot of good questions. So I want to answer each one. Okay. At the end of this, you have your own business. Okay. This is what you end up with. When you graduate from this after 9 months, you have your own business. Okay. That's one thing. At the end of this, if you went to medical school, it's not 6 years,
say.
and it's more than 96. But let's just say it was.
No,
Okay. Now you're going to get a job making how much at a hotel, a hospital? I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. Okay. Here, you're going to own your own business.
Yeah.
Now, you will have spent 9 months planning that business. Yeah, anybody can go start their own business.
Yeah.
But most businesses, what?
Fail.
Fail.
In the first-
Why do they fail?
Due to not being able to keep it fun.
Well, no, because you didn't have customers, right? And maybe that's what you meant by funding. But when you say funding, I'm thinking of going and getting grants or people who give you money.
I mean, people, you're not getting clientele.
People what?
You're not getting, like you said, customers. You're not,
Yeah.
You don't have clientele.
So with Nolan's school, the thing is, you're gonna have a higher probability of doing everything right because you're learning from a professional instead of doing it yourself.
I understand that, but what I'm asking you is like, what variables besides learning? A lot of people like him offer like job things like conventions on the strip, different stuff. They give you this type of information. What exactly skill sets would you be getting?
Okay, good question. I'm gonna tell you that.
That was a good question though.
I mean, I'm just asking because a person who's already in that from the first thing, and you know, people go to school twice, why would somebody go back to school instead of taking that risk on their own?
No, right. So specifically, what do you learn?
Not learn, what is lucrative? Because business, you can take business and learn how to run your business, but what is he offering that?
I'm gonna tell you that.
Okay.
I got it. So one starting point that I want to get is I think we all agree, if you want to be an NBA basketball player, who do you need to help you do that?
Coaches.
Good coaches, not just coaches. You need good coaches.
You need God, because it's requirements. You could be the best player, it's a lot of.
It takes more than God.
Good coaches ain't gonna help.
There's nobody who is in the NBA today that didn't have a good coach.
It's
No, there isn't. There's nobody in the NBA today who didn't play basketball in high school and
Yes, it is.
who?
Dennis Rodman didn't play basketball in high school, he played at college.
Well, okay, or I was gonna say, or college,
Yeah.
okay? There's nobody who just is in the NBA
And
who said,
Europeans don't go to college or play high school, they play professional from 14 years old to make it to the NBA.
but what are they doing the whole time? They're playing basketball and they have good coaches. They just didn't decide when they're 21, you know what, I'm gonna go play basketball, right?
You're-
Everybody has had a good coach. There's nobody who's had a bad coach and is a pro. Let me say it this way, because that didn't sound right. There's nobody who's only had bad coaches
and they-
and made it. I'm not saying every coach they had was great, but they had somebody who was great. So one thing you get overall is training from a pro. But specifically, what do you learn? Business law. Is business law important?
Of course.
I went to law school starting in 1990 because I read a statistic that said by the year 2020, there will be more lawyers in California than people. That's a joke, but yeah, okay. But in California, if you want to go into business, you either need to be a lawyer or you have a friend or your brother or somebody's a lawyer, because the way people get ahead in California is they sue you or threaten to sue you. They have guys in California that are lawyers that go around to businesses making sure that the handicap parking thing out in front is right, and that you don't have people parking in there who are not handicapped. They'll sue the business. Like, let's say you own the business, you park in the handicap thing out in front, but you don't have any handicapped customers. Guess what happens in California? Somebody's gonna sue you for $5,000. And you're gonna end up paying $500.
Wow, me.
You're gonna end up paying $500 because you don't wanna pay an attorney $400 an hour to fight it.
Well, wait, isn't the street where you're gonna park it, isn't it government owned though?
No, your parking lot at work. Like, say the parking lot at the Tuscany, they have handicap parking
Right.
things.
Oh, but it's actually for us,
For us, what do you mean?
like for Tuscany, like the handicap spot is for
Yeah,
us.
so let's say the president of Tuscany decides he's gonna park in the handicap zone.
Right,
If that was California, Tuscany is gonna be sued
I mean,
because it's the ADA, Americans with Disability Act.
yeah, but like, what if you have like two businesses right next to each other?
One person's responsible for that thing, but let's not get attracted because we want to get to this. So one is business law. Another one is accounting. Are those important?
Of course.
Of course, they're huge,
Uh,
okay? Those are two big things. This QuickBooks accounting course, where you end up getting a QuickBooks certificate, You take their course, you go to a proctored exam, real exam, it's by QuickBooks into it. You get 3 tries to pass the test. If you pass, they give you a certificate. If later you want to go get a job and they, for doing accounting, and say, well, do you know accounting? And you say, yeah. You pull out here's my QuickBooks certificate, and I will assure you, this is what you say, and I can promise you, anybody who doesn't have one of these, they don't know QuickBooks right. What did that just do to your competition for the job?
Knock them out.
It knocked them out, because
Yeah.
how many people do you think have a QuickBooks certificate? Not too many. Another thing you get is marketing. And that's fundamentally what Atari, Chuck E. Cheese, Nolan's companies are ultimately about. And marketing covers a lot of things: social media, print magazines, TV commercials, how to produce this stuff to generate customers. And so the idea is, if you're starting a business, it's so if you're starting a business, what you want to do is focus on customers, not on administration. Okay, you don't want to be following around people saying, I need you to do this, how about doing this, I'm going to teach you how to do this. If you're starting a business, the number one thing you want to spend your time on is customers. Getting customers and keeping customers. And we talked about this cloud stuff, right, at the beginning with Tuscany, is that's one of the tools, is how do you use the cloud to get customers. So that's the 4th big thing. The next thing is internships. Okay, so with Nolan School, one of the things is you get to work for this company. 55 restaurants. They have the restaurants in the food courts at most of the properties on the Venetian, most of the MGM properties. They have over 1,000 employees. These guys know how to run a business. So 2 things happen. One is you go work for a company that knows how to do things, and so you learn the best policies and procedures. And it would be better than the Tuscany, because the Tuscany, we don't know where, they're not part of a big organization. Okay, so they can do things the way they do it.
Nah, we don't follow by the books at all.
Okay, so
Like,
if
not
you're
all
starting your company, you want to make sure everybody's
Right,
doing
exactly,
it the same
dude.
way.
Like, those guys, they like, that's something. I mean, I would go to that school just to see how you're supposed to do it.
Okay, so you learn what are called policies and procedures and best practices.
Yo.
So when you come out and you want to get people to invest in your business, and they say, what do you know? Well, I worked at Fifth Avenue Restaurant Group. Okay, it's paid, fully paid. Another thing, here, who's heard of Tony Hsieh?
I work for him.
You do?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Doing what?
I work for his Silver State Production and also Fremont East Studios, which are companies under the downtown project.
Okay, so you know the motels on Fremont down past Maryland? Okay, those are going to be the dormitories.
So all this is really secure, like it's gonna have like guaranteed.
Yeah, he's not going to put his name on it. He's not going to put his name on it.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about, of giving somebody that, hey, if you don't like it, you don't have to pay the restaurant thing. Okay, you don't have to take it off the bill. So you live, or what? Do you know Maggie Hsu? Short Chinese girl. Anyway, you might recognize her. She's like Tony's assistant on a lot of things. She Harvard MBA. Anyway, so they want us to take the 211. You know what the 211 is?
What's that?
The 211 is the apartment building on 8th and Ogden.
Okay.
I think it's a 3-story. They want that to be the dorms.
Okay.
Really nice. You know the Neonopolis?
Yeah.
Okay, the owner of that is part of this, and that's where the campus is going to be.
Okay.
Okay, and that's 85% vacant. He said, you got people that have ideas, guess what they can do?
Yeah.
Open their store or their place right inside of here.
Yeah.
Do you think it'd make it easier to start your business if somebody said, here's the space?
Right.
Cause I watched him like basically just monopolize that whole downtown area, like.
Right. Okay, so do you know where the container park is?
Yeah.
Do you know the learning village next to it?
I have
Yeah.
viewed it at work on the Tyson.
Okay, the learning village? Okay, so for 2 years, this is where our school was, in the learning village.
Yeah.
We were in the learning village for 2 years. Until September, till Life is Beautiful, then that's closed down now.
Yeah.
Okay, last year at this time, there was one thing well, there's two, Trike
Yeah.
and us. So you've got Nolan Bushnell, Tony Shea, Rohit Joshi, Indian guy. Are you Indian?
Mhm.
Yeah, Indian guy, Rohit Joshi. And why here? Because the other thing you do is you have to go to trade shows. Because a trade show is the perfect place to see how a lot of different people do the same business. Like there's a nightclub bar show, is one example, restaurant nightclub bar show. And there might be 500 different companies at that trade show that are all in the same business, but they do something different. So one good thing is you learn from them. But yeah, you could pay $25, $50 to get into the trade show. You could walk around, but people don't learn the most when they're doing it on their own, right?
Harder.
Huh?
It's very hard. It's
You
not
come,
just-
you meet with us, so you have a thing, okay, everybody, today we're going to CES, here's what we're gonna do, everybody needs to do this, we're gonna come back, and Friday, everybody has to turn in a report on that. Now, what's gonna happen? You're gonna have to remember that, right?
Yeah.
Of what you saw at the show, because you've gotta give a presentation. You're starting your own business, do you think you need to know how to give presentations?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so where are you gonna learn to give a presentation? Where do you learn right now, CJ, to give a presentation?
I have to self-educate.
If you see, you don't. Okay, and so what happens is,
Classes doing that.
time is money. Time is money. You can learn things on your own. It's gonna take you a lot more time.
That's why I'm at this stage in my life.
Okay, yes, Renee.
So how much is this audio in the school? Like, what is it?
Well, it's less than 96,000 and it's more than 3,000. What would you
About
pay?
$5,000.
Okay, so you're revoking your 3, now it's worth an extra 2?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay,
Of course.
5. Okay, what would you pay? Ernie, what would you pay?
What would I pay for this? I would pay a lot, but for like 4,500.
Huh?
4,500.
4,500, okay.
Okay.
Okay, what would you pay, Renee? 25 what? Dollars? For 9 months of school, 5 days a week, a penny a day, 25,000. Okay, so that's a realistic guess. Because that's 96. And CJ thinks that it's not worth the same, that 96, what you get for going to school for 6 years is better.
I was asking you, why was it?
Okay, Whitney, what would you pay?
$3,000?
$300 a month?
Hey,
Okay.
hey, bet 7.
Okay, what would you pay?
Say 15,000.
Okay, so that's somebody, Joshua's somebody that logically is in the same ballpark I'm in, because it's like he's saying, well, if it's 16,000 at UNLV and you don't really learn jack, right, the first year at UNLV, versus I had my business, I worked at a good business, I lived at a guy who made $1 billion in the last 8 years. I'm gonna see him walking down the street. All we have to do is have some booze out and he'll come by. Okay, he's a good guy. So I get the logic here. But I would say if that's worth 16, this would be more than 16. But, okay, what do you say, Ernie? Again, you said 45.
So that's gonna be like 10
And
grand.
what do you say, Jessica?
600.
Perfect, exactly.
6,000?
6,000.
Oh, nice.
So you know why? Because I was thinking 6,000, I was using that mind meld. Okay, 6,000. And you don't have to pay up front. It works out that if you have the job and you work in the place, after you end up making $970 a month, you could afford to pay $600 a month for tuition. You could afford to pay as you go. Now, who wouldn't do that? Who in their right mind wouldn't say, okay, let me get this straight. I basically have food, clothing, and shelter taken care of. And I'm going to probably eat well if I'm working in a restaurant, right? I have food, clothing, and shelter. It's 9 months. I'm not really going to make any money, but I'm going to have $300 a month for spending money. When what they pay me, I pay 600 of that to go to school. And it's 9 months. Okay, yes.
So wait, you're saying that we live with the dude, or?
You live in the dorm.
Yeah. it's a
Oh,
they're opening
oh, that's what
doors.
you guys were just talking about
Yeah.
that building?
Yeah.
And Nolan is insistent, everybody needs to live in the dorm, because what happens when you have a bunch of students in a dorm working on projects? They build together, they bond together, you have guys that help each other out.
That might be like two good ideas in one.
Correct. And he's gonna have a tinker's lab there, which means there's gonna be plasma cutter, 3D printers,
What?
things for guys to just do.
No, man.
And Dr. Seuss trees out in front on the roof. Trees with LEDs, really cool.
That's
Huh?
You can go and say because it's downtown.
Yeah, because it's in Tony Shea's name, it's gotta be cool. So we only have a minute to go. So who would be crazy enough to not do this? Who in here?
Somebody wanna work for
Who in here would be crazy enough to not do it?
I would do it if I didn't already have a plan.
Okay,
Now, let me ask you this. What if you have some of those classes and things and proof of it? Is it like, cause like, okay, well, you're gonna be a CSN, if you have credits already, it applies and you could graduate early. Would that be a possibility with this program?
no, this isn't really a licensed school, this is like lessons, like taking music lessons or karate
So
lessons
you
type of
have
thing.
to go work for somebody in order to get it?
No, you don't have to work here,
But, okay,
you don't have to work for him.
like prime example, you said the food industry or whatever.
I'm just saying, what you learn if you did work here. You don't have to work here, what you have to do is go to school and live in the dorm.
Okay, cause like, cause somebody.
You could work for Tony Shea or yourself
And that could be considered as like credit?
as part of it. The thing is, you have to go to class and you have to live in the dorm. You don't have to take that job.
Okay.
It's just for people who are really serious. So here's the people who don't do it. People who don't want to own their own business. That's the only people in here who don't do this. People who feel somebody else is going to take care of me. All I need to do is get a job and somebody's going to take care of me. I just have to show up. And that is true for most people. Nolan's point is, when you do that, when you work for somebody, they're making money off of you. You're working for wholesale because they want to make money. If they pay you what you're worth, what are they going to get? Nothing. There's nothing left. Attorneys that bill at $400 an hour, which is typical now, how much do you think they get per hour? If the client pays $400 an hour to an attorney, which is about standard for a good attorney, decent attorney, not really good. $400 an hour. How much of that 400 does the attorney get?
Like,
Maybe $85 an hour.
Who's the on his own, firm, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying if you're an employee. If you're billing at 400, you're gonna get maybe 85. Some of that money is gonna go to pay rent and utilities and the other workers, but the owners of the law firm are probably gonna be making $85 an hour also. So for every hour you work, they're gonna be making $85. That's how business works with employees. You pay them less than their worth. So the people who don't do this are really the people who don't want to own their own business. And that's the thing that you got to ask yourself, well, why am I afraid? What was I told when I was a little kid that makes me not want to own my own business? And most people are told, go get a good job. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The business that, like, I eventually do want to have my own business, but the business that I'm getting